Hi, hello, welcome to IAS Factor, and we are continuing the Ancient India Revision Series class for the prelims examination. So let's go into the next important session. We already discussed the Buddhism and Jainism, and now we are going to do another session because, as you know, Buddhism and Jainism is a very important topic for the UPSC exam. That is why we are going to compare. So, what is the difference between Jainism and Buddhism, and what are the similarities between these religions or these movements? So, there are fair share of equal points that you can attribute to it, and fair share of points which are stark differences between this. And can you see this picture? Most probably, it's a generated image where Mahavira and Buddha are actually meeting together, having a conversation. So, do you think this incident has ever happened in the history? No, this hasn't happened in the history because there is no such recorded event where Buddha and Mahavira talk to each other, but they're all contemporaries. They were all in the same time, almost in the same place, same region, but they have never met. And who is elder? I have given you an idea. Mahavira is elder, but there is no such instance where we can see that they both of them have met. But still, we need to have an idea about. Let's go into the important content of Buddhism and Jainism. What is the main difference between all of that? We'll find out all of this in this session. So these are all speculated images. If they have met, it would have been like this. So who was elder is the question. Mahavira Vardhamana was elder than Buddha by almost 15 years. This is historically, we have data. Mahavira was born in 599 BC and died 527 according to Jain tradition. Siddhartha Gautama was born in 563 BC. So obviously Mahavira was more elder. So Mahavira was older and they were contemporaries during much of their lives. So in case there is a question, an analytical question, who was elder, you need to have an idea. There is no direct historical evidence or a reliable textual record, either in Buddhist or Jain scripture, that confers a face-to-face meeting between them. However, both of them lived and taught in the eastern Gangetic plain in the eastern part, especially regions like Magadha, Vaishali and Rajagraha. So these regions are very popular, but it has never happened. No records say that. But a meeting is plausible, but it is not recorded in the historical sources. If there was even a slightest a meetup or a plan for a meetup, definitely that would have been there in the books. So did they know each other? That is also a question. Did they know about each other? Highly likely that they were aware of each other's existence because their contemporary followers often debated. So this is also only a belief. We don't have a concrete evidence that they might know about each other, they might know about the paths. But the Buddhist text refers to the followers of Niganta Nattapatta. So this is a key word, the followers of Niganta Nattaputta, which is another name of Mahavira and Jain monks. So Niganta Nattaputta is definitely, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right, but I have no idea about the Buddhist or Jainist pronunciations, but still, Buddhist people definitely have talked about Jaina. And Jain texts also mention heretical teachers, including views that seem similar to Buddhist doctrine. So definitely, both the books talk about each other. So you get an idea that they might have known each other. So that is the key important thing. And now let's jump into the we'll jump into the differences between both Jainism and Buddhism. So Jainism by Vardhaman Mahavira, 24th Tirthankara. Buddhism was Siddhartha Gautama, known as Buddha. Both of them are 6th century BC in India. So the timeline seems to be pretty common to all of them. So this again is a difference, but have an idea regarding that. And the next one is regarding the we have discussed about the founder, and next one regarding the belief in soul. So did they believe in soul is the key question. So Jainism, belief in the soul, we have to find out. Jainism strongly believe in the eternal and individual soul, jiva. All the animated and inanimated things have souls. Buddhism denies a permanent soul, following the anatta or non-self doctrine. So they believe in jiva, but Buddhism denies a permanent soul. So that is a key question that you need to understand. And what about the belief in God? Both are atheistic religions, no creator God. And the most interesting part is both Buddha and Mahavira have never said that they are gods, but it is the later followers who made them God. So Jainism believes in liberated souls, Tirthankaras, as divine but not gods. I think that is a key thing because they do not see Jainism people, they believe in the Tirthankara. So, most possibly, it can be for them, it is a kind of a divine thing. So, they might it almost equal to a god. What is the concept of karma? Jainism views karma as a physical substance. It's called Pudgala that binds to the souls. You remember the thing that I've taught you about the white screen, a white cloth, and the karma is the dust adding to the cloth. So it's Pudgala. Buddhism treats karma as a mental and moral force, not physical. So for them, it is a physical substance. Karma is like a physical thing for Jainism. See, always remember, okay, these points can be asked in the examination. Jainism, the karma is very physical, like a cloth, adding it to it. Buddhism, it is a mental concept. It's a mental force, not a physical one. So karma, both of them appreciates karma, but one is physical and one is mental. In Jainism, the goal is moksha, liberation of the soul by shedding all karmas. And in Buddhism, the goal is nirvana, cessation of the suffering and birth. So this ultimate goal needs to be thing. And the moksha concept is also in Jainism, it's called as Kevala Jnana. It's called the Kevala Jnana, or it is called as the Kaivilya. I hope you remember yesterday's session or the previous session that I taught you. According to Buddhism, this is the cycle of life and death, and this is called as samsara. So nirvana is getting out of this. It's not a place, it's not heaven, it's not Jannat or anything. It is a sense of bliss. But moksha, it is the liberation of the soul by shedding all karmas. So both of them are different, but there are different common factors. Ahimsa, both value non-violence, but Jainism is more extreme, avoiding harm even to tiny forms like microbes. That is one of the reason why, Jain people, they do not do agriculture, because while you do agriculture, most likely it can kill microorganisms in the soil. And they keep a mask like this, most of them, so that the even the saliva or the things that comes out does not affect the atmosphere or the ambience or the surroundings. So they are extreme things that most of them do not comb their hair because it might be difficult, and microorganisms can die. That is a thought process. That is an extreme concept. Buddhism promotes ahimsa, but in a more moderate way. So they also support agriculture because they believe that you should be coexisting with the animals, and we need to do that. That is one of the reasons why majority of the Jain people in the later ancient and medieval times, they did not do agriculture, and most of them became money lenders, business people, traders, etc. That is the reason why still even now Jain people are one of the most richest people with a background of trading and a background of business, merchants, etc. So that is a historical part. And take a look at the path to liberation. Jainism promotes severe asceticism, penance, and detachment. They believe that you need to inflict a lot of pain into your body. So that is a kind of thing. Buddhism teaches the middle path, balancing asceticism and indulgence. So eightfold path. And even Gautam Buddha's idea was too much asceticism can be futile. So Buddhism is a middle path. Jainism is extreme self-penance, infliction of pain. Jain monks follow very strict rules. Digambaras, even they don't have the clothes. Buddhist monks follow a disciplined but less strict lifestyle, and they also wear robes. They wear dress, etc. So the rules and regulations are always tighter for Jain people. Digambara Jain believe women can't attain moksha, while Shvetambaras allow it. They believe women should be born as men to attain moksha or kaivilya. They need to get kaivilya. Buddhism allows women to become nuns and attain nirvana. Yesterday, I hope you remember the concept of bodhisattva and arhat. Jain texts include the agamas, the Shvetambara and the Tattvartha Stutra. But the Buddhist texts are the three Pitakas, Vinaya Pitaka, and different scriptures are also different. Jainism emphasizes ahimsa, anekantavada, shadvada, and the five great woes. We've already discussed that. Buddhism focuses on four noble truths, eightfold path, anatta, and the dependent origination. The dependent origination. Do you remember the concept that I taught you yesterday? The Buddhist concept. Remember this. All these are something that we have discussed. Jainism uses the hand with a wheel and a swastika. Remember, hand with a wheel, ahimsa symbol and swastika. Buddhist uses the dharma chakra, wheel of law, the bodhi tree, and the Buddha's footprints. So these Buddha doesn't have a face. So Hinayana Buddhist, they all believe in wheel of law, wheel, bodhi tree, footprints, all refers to Buddha because they don't have a face. According to them, Buddha does not have a face. They do not worship statues. So theirs is hand with the wheel and swastika, remember. Jainism celebrates Mahavir Jayanti and the Paryushana. Buddhism celebrates the Vesak Buddha Purnima, the Asalha Puja and Katina. There are different festivals which are different. So different festivals, and the region is also. Jainism has remained mostly confined to India. Buddhism spread across Asia, Sri Lanka, China, Japan, Tibet, South Asia because the people, they took it outside India. That is the reason why it got promoted. And some of the other random common factors that we need to know about Buddhism and Jainism. Both are 6th century. They were all part of the Shramana movement which opposed Vedic rituals and authority of the Brahmins. As I told you, the later Vedic period, one of the main success of Buddhism and Jainism was people were tired of Hinduism. People were tired about authority of Brahmins. People were tired of rituals. Everything there was rituals. It is complicated and the caste systems started to emerge. Both Buddhism and Jainism offered a very simple way of practicing. That is why most of the people, they actually jumped into this religion. So Shramana, they all are part of the Shramana movement which opposed all this. They opposed Vedic authority. They rejected the Vedas and ritualistic practice. They opposed animal sacrifices and the social dominance of Brahmins. According to them, even the king and the common man, everybody is the same. Atheism, non-theism. Neither religion believes in creator God. They are non-theistic religions for systems focusing instead on personal effort and self-realization. They do not believe in the intervention of God. If you take an effort, if you do self-realization, you will definitely get somewhere. Karma and rebirth. Both accept the law of karma and believe in the cycle of rebirth, that is samsara. Actions determine the quality of the future births. Your karma is the most important thing that determines. So definitely they believe in karma and rebirth. The ultimate in both is freedom of cycle of birth. Jainism call it moksha or kevala jnana or kaivalya. Buddhism calls it nirvana. We have already discussed it. Both stress moral conduct and ethical principles like ahimsa, truth, celibacy, non-stealing. Do you remember this name? Aparigraha. Detached from personal possessions. We have already learned that. No divine intervention or help is needed for salvation. God is not needed. So they denounce the idea of the concept of God. Emphasis on individual effort, discipline and spiritual practice. Do you think after years and years after when they passed away, the Buddhism that took off from that time and now it's existing, do you think no divine salvation is needed? They believe in the powers of Buddha. They treat Buddha now as God and they definitely self-effort was initially the norm, but later on, do you think these people believe in the self-effort? They definitely believe in self-effort, but definitely they also believe in the divinity also, the divine powers of Buddha. Use of vernacular language. This is a very important point. Both use local languages instead of Sanskrit because Sanskrit was not common to the it was not appealing against the common people of that society. So making teaching accessible. Jainism used Ardha Magadhi and Prakrit. Buddhism used Pali. Remember, Jainism is Ardha Magadhi and Prakrit. They denounce Sanskrit and Buddhism is Pali. So have a clear idea on that. Both challenge caste-based discrimination. So all these are already discussed, ascetic practices. And let's discuss some of the famous kings who patronized Jainism. Obviously, that is the reason why it became popular. And after the ancient India's end, you will see that slowly people, the kings and the rulers have denounced Buddhism and Jainism. That is the reason why it is not getting patronage. Most of them were getting state patronages, but that is lost now. So that is something that we have to understand. So most of them, state patronage was lost. So Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of Mauryan Empire, converted to Jainism under the influence of Bhadrabahu, a Jain monk, renounced his throne and he went to Shravana Belagola, the Karnataka, where he is believed to have died Sallekhana. We've already discussed Sallekhana or Santara. Kharavela of Kalinga, This ruler's name, remember, the Khadavela of Kalinga. His inscriptions are recorded in the Hathigumpa inscription. They can be asked in the examination. The Hathigumpa inscription. Remember, when you hear the name Hathigumpa, the Hathigumpa, so there are different types, the Hathigumpa, the elephant caves, etc. We'll discuss when I teach Indian culture. We'll learn about the Hathigumpa or the Hathigumpa. Promoted Jainism extensively, Jain temples, and spent mission to spread Jainism. So King Kharavela of Kalinga and Raja Bhoja of Malwa. They're both associated with Hinduism. He also supported Jain scholars and literature. And Amogha Varsha. He's a Rashtrakuta king, deeply influenced by Jainism. He also constructed a lot of temples. So Rashtrakuta of Amogha Varsha I was also a Jain ruler. Now let's take another important ideas about the Buddhist and also Kumarapala. The Kumarapala, he's a Solanki ruler of Gujarat in the 12th century. He converted to Jainism under the influence of Acharya Hemachandra. He prohibited animal slaughter and supported temple construction. So Kumarapala. And now let's see who are the most popular ones of Buddhism. Ashoka, obviously, you don't know. He convened the third Buddhist councils, missionaries to Sri Lanka, and built numerous stupas around Sanchi for the Buddhist people. And Bimbisara, the king of Magadha and contemporary of the Buddha. He met the Buddha and became one of his earliest royal disciples, provided land for monasteries like the Veluvana Vihara. So Veluvana Vihara, remember Veluvana Vihara is Ajatashatru. He met Buddha in person and he was inspired by that. Ajatasattu, Shatru or son of Bimbisara, initially opposed the Buddha but later became a supporter. He supported the first Buddhist council in Rajgriha after Buddha's death. So remember Ajatashatru, Menander or Milinda. You must have remembering the book called Melinda Panho. It's also Indo-Greek king who ruled in the northwestern India, converted to Buddhism following a famous dialogue with the monk Nagasena or Nagarjuna. They had a debate. Milinda had a debate with Nagasena, and finally he was convinced and he converted himself to Buddhism. So that is, the book is Melinda Panho. That can be asked. It is a PYQ. They can ask this question. Melinda Panho means questions of Menander. It actually has the questions of Menander. Menander questions everything. And next is the great king Kanishka. Kanishka, the emperor, the patron of Mahayana Buddhism. Ashoka believed in the Hinayana. Ashoka was the Hinayana. Sorry. And he convened the fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir. He also spread Buddhism to Central Asia and China. So these are some of the important things regarding the Buddhism, common factors and the other important aspects. I hope you got an idea. So now we'll move again to the next important content.